Take your face up. Hey.
Your face come up.
Look me.
The Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, could have been an easy way to negotiate with them, and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today.
As we know as Muslims, it's in the Holy Quran, you cannot take somebody's life without due process.
Let's not forget, in all this conversation about Boko Haram, and I think this is where the Nigerian government has gotten it wrong. First of all, let's not forget, we are the ones who gave them the name Boko Haram. They didn't say that they are Boko Haram.
Destructive to our present and obviously to our future.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News Gist and Blog. Now, recently, the former Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Irabo, he launched a book, and the book contained or unraveled the insecurity in Nigeria and about Boko Haram, let's just say, about Boko Haram. On the day of the book launch, he gathered all the cabals and the elites, give them a mic to address the nation on what they think about Boko Haram. All of them start throwing shade. Now, the first person on our list is Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Boko Haram of 18 started at least during his time when he was a vice president, and when he became a president, become Montofa and all of that. Now, this is what he have to say during the book launch. There is a reason I'm giving you this video, so that you will know who is Boko Haram and what Boko Haram really mean in Nigeria. I want you guys to watch the speech he gave. We'll be right back.
One of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, could have been an easy way to negotiate with them, and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today. I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented here. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing, we will be able to resolve this crisis. When I was in office, and one of the major scars on my government, and it will be on my face, and like Bishop Cook has said, no plastic or cosmetic surgeon can remove it, is the issue of the Chibok girls. It's a scar that I will die with. But later on, people may know a little more details. And that's also to do with the Boko Haram. What do they really want? If you look at the weapons they use, and you value the weapons, then you know that these are not hungry people. So the soldiers that sometimes capture some of the weapons will see better. But the weapons they use, the ammunitions they use, sometimes they even have more ammunitions than our soldiers. So it doesn't show that they're hungry people. And where are these guns, sophisticated weapons coming from?
Now, I just have to split his own speech. Maybe you watch the full part of it at the end of the video. But the major thing he said is what I gave to you now. According to him, he didn't want to just force it on the APC, but we all know that the APC formed the Boko Haram in order to destabilize the PDP government. They were so desperate for it and all of that. So he is an elite, so he will be very sensitive in what he wants to say. We already know what he's trying to say. It didn't just end there. But I also want you guys to watch this particular video of this bishop who did not filter his word. This man came out and detail by details. There's no need for you to pen to his Boko Haram, it's not Boko Haram. And this is what he said. I want you guys to watch this video.
Now, the author goes on to talk about the Boko Haram conundrum. Now, the good thing about the book is that it doesn't discuss the theology of Boko Haram, which is a subject for another day. But he makes the point, even if it is in passing, about the circumstances, social, economic, political, that brought about this, and I will speak to it towards the end of my presentation. But please, let us not forget, in all this conversation about Boko Haram, and I think this is where the Nigerian government has gotten it wrong. First of all, let's not forget, we are the ones who gave them the name Boko Haram. They didn't say that they are Boko Haram. We are the ones who gave them the name. And because we gave them the name Boko Haram, we have become comfortable. It has affected our strategy. And that is why we're focusing on, they say they know like book, that the education, Western education is, but if you go back, and I've done a little bit of research on Boko Haram for quite some time. My brother and the director of the Kuka Center, Father Barkindo, here, his PhD thesis at the prestigious School of Oriental and African Studies was on Boko Haram. They've done extensive translations of the kind of things that Boko Haram was talking about. And until you access the kind of thing Boko Haram was talking about, you are shooting at the wrong board. Because the question which the chairman raised as to how 15 years later we are unable to resolve this issue means that you cannot cast out a devil that you have not named. Boko Haram says their name is Jama'atu Ali Sunnah Leader Awati Wal Jihad. That is their name. If you can't pronounce it, too bad. Because if you call me John, I won't answer. If you call me Philip, I won't answer. Even if I commit a crime and you took me to court and you tried me and you secure a conviction and you spell my name Matthew with one T, I can argue that this is not my Matthew. So we are calling them Boko Haram, but they have told you this is their name. And the English translation is that people committed to the prophet's teachings for the propagation of jihad. That's what is in their blood. So no matter how many bullets you shoot them with, and I will come to that point, they have told you this is what they are committed to. And in fairness to all of us, including those of us who are in this room, is there any Muslim who will say is not committed to the teachings of the Holy Prophet? The challenge is what context of preaching. Now, the author talks about the irony of Boko Haram. That is in chapter 6. And he addresses a lot of issues in chapter 6 and chapter 7, which also catalog the forces that led to the destruction. The Federal Government College in Buniyadi, the kidnappings in Chibok, Dapchi, the destruction of infrastructure such as the UN building in Abuja, assassinations of people like Jafar Adam in Kano, and so on. Now, the issue of Leah Sharibu and the Chibok girls, these are what the author refers to as the scars. And in my view, as long as Leah Sharibu is unaccounted for, as long as any of the abducted children in Nigeria is unaccounted for, every child that is unaccounted for is a scar on the face of Nigeria.
Immediately he said this, Sultan of Sokoto came out and said, oh, don't blame it on Shahid. We are not terrorists. These people are very nice people. These people are so good. You don't put it on Muslim. There is a... Anyway, there's what he said in this video that did not sit well for me. But I want you guys to watch it.
I'm not going to say anything about insecurity or the way to end insecurity or whatever it is. No. I want to adopt all what's been said from the beginning of this program, because these are the ways and means of resolving such issues. But what President Jonathan said, I was expecting him to make a very strong comment about how he really dealt with the issue of Boko Haram, which he used both the military and myself and other stakeholders. But maybe he decided not to, because a book is coming after that from him on how I dealt with Boko Haram issue. And let me also correct you, like I am happy to hear that the Boko Haram is not really Boko Haram. That's not their name. I'm glad to hear that from somebody who is not me. If I were the one who is saying though, somebody will say yes, because I know them. And that's not their name, because I know that they never claimed Boko is haram. If you have listened to some of their audio, which I had privilege of listening to, they said they didn't say Boko is haram, because so many of them have also gone to school. And they said you cannot open somebody's brain and remove the education in his head. So he had already acquired that knowledge, that education. He's an engineer, he's a doctor, he's whatever it is. What they are saying is that those who have gone to school and are educated are leading bad governments. What they're after is the issue of bad governance, because they want to be free, they want to do whatever they feel they should do. And I want to correct, and I'm glad this is carried on TV, live. I want to correct this wrong notion that people, non-Muslims, hold about jihad. Jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim by a Muslim. Jihad means to strive. And in whatever you do in life, you strive to be the best you can be. You strive to be a good Muslim. You strive to be a good Christian. You strive to be a good farmer or a good engineer. So jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim. That's a wrong notion people have been airing out for decades. And I wrote a foreword on a book across the world, published by the King of Jordan. Because as we know as Muslims, it's in the Holy Quran, you cannot take somebody's life without due process. You cannot kill somebody. Because they said to kill a life, take a life or kill somebody, it's like taking the whole of humanity. That's without being following due process. But these are things that scholars will talk to you about. So let's live here with this notion that jihad is not to kill, because we are living peacefully with one another. I'm a Muslim and I know I'm a Muslim. If you're a Christian, you know you're a Christian. Then when we understand one another, we are better equipped to deal with one another. Because I know who you are, you know who I am. There's nothing you can do to me. There's something I can do to you. Understanding is the most important thing. We understand one another and live peacefully in this country.
If you listen and you are not biased, whether you're a Muslim, Christian, you're from northern Nigerians or any part of Nigeria, if you listen to what this Sultan of Sokoto said, you will understand fully that this man is with the Boko Haram, whether Jihad or whatsoever. Listen to what he said, that the Muslims are not buying people without following the due process. What is the due process? Like, you have the audacity to say in a national conference like this, where elite and the international body will be watching, that you people don't buy people without following the due process. Meanwhile, he was not talking about the security agency now or law enforcement, whatever. He's talking about the individual in the forest, that they don't buy somebody without following the due process. Let's say it's not even referring to Boko Haram or Fulani Herdsmen or whatsoever, but he was talking about Muslims, that they don't buy people without following the due process. What is the due process? The due process that if you blaspheme against Muhammad, there will be jungle justice. Because that's what they have been doing in Sokoto. You remember that girl that they buy? Because that girl said they have a school group. What was in the school group? They share assignment together. That was it. But some people were sharing Muslim prayer in the group, and the girl only said, please stop sharing this rubbish here. This is a school, whatever. That was it. And they light this girl up, they burnt her down. And nobody, not including your president or the state governor or the security agency, talks about it. Only Arise News talk and nothing was done until today. Just recently, again, I think about, it's not up to a month, but last month here, another one happened. They stoned somebody to death. Meanwhile, before they stoned that person to death, the government were involved, the police were there, and the traditional ruler were there. According to the news report, that they said they don't have anything to do with this. What happened? This man is asking this woman out. This woman he refused to date him and said that me I not get anything to do with all these Muslim people. I think that was all. The man said he's blaspheming against his religion, and that was it. They drag her to traditional place, and those ones say take her go. They stone her to death. Until today, no single arrest. Let's talk about the genocide that have been happening in Nigeria and all of that, buying a lot of Christians. What due process is this man is trying to say? Anyway, let me not just start picking on him, but I want you guys to watch this particular video of the former president as well, Olusegun Obasanjo, what he said. This is not time for you to lay blame and none of that, but I want you guys to listen to what he said. We'll be right back.
Shouldn't we examine our past? What is in our past that is becoming debilitating, destructive to our present and obviously to our future. And I believe that is what you have tried to do in your book. There is normally the tendency, don't talk about it, let's leave it. And I believe that we must get out of that culture. Let us see it as it is. The history, the life of any nation, any family, any institution has the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is important, and our Master of Ceremony and Mistress of Ceremony made that point, is let us have it, let us look at it, and let us think about it. And when we have to find solution, we may even look beyond what we can see. Let us think beyond what is available. And I think that is what you have done here. And I will urge and appeal that those who have things to say about this particular issue of Boko Haram, we don't even know where Boko Haram stops and banditry starts and kidnapping begins. They are all mixed together. We can't go on this way. Surely we can't. And something must be done. And the beginning of something being done is this book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum.
Now, you have listened to what the former president said. Now, these are the two PDP presidents now. At least, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan have spoken. All of this is just to destabilize his terrain and his reign. And Obasanjo also came to finalize it. Thank God that the bishop also said his own part of it. Like, but the Sultan of Sokoto is trying to say, we can buy person, but we follow the due process. We don't buy person. Must you buy person? Can a Christian also say this, that, okay, hey, or we buy people, we follow the due process? What is the due process that people who are not in the security agency must follow before they buy somebody? I don't know. Me, I'm just saying. Because when it happened in the north, they slaughtered a lot of Christians and a lot of people. It's normal. Like, nobody talks about it. Nobody, including you, nobody talking about it. Only one that happened in Edo State. The state governor have to run. He didn't even enter bus. He didn't even enter his convoy. He didn't even fly. He just crawled with his knee to go and beg. Please, oh, forgive me. But day by day, there's a news report that nothing less. We'll make a separate videos about the Christian genocide in the north. At least day after day, weeks after weeks, month after month, and year after year, at least minimum, there are more than 5,000 Christians that are being killed in the north. Like I said, we'll make a separate video. Let's talk about Lucky Irabo, who wrote the book. And I want you guys to listen to what he said, the reason he wrote the book. We'll be right back.
Well, Ngozi, thank you very much for that question. And let me, before I come to my perspective as to the answer to your question, let me appreciate the management of Arise TV for inviting me, and as well as also covering the unveiling of the book earlier today. Yes, it would have been, a good thing to see that the scourge of Boko Haram was extinguished during the presidency of late President Muhammadu Buhari. But incidentally, you must understand that conflicts of this nature, they are not necessarily what you could calculate within the chessboard. there are intricacies, which of course is part of what the book also deals with, that you cannot easily see from the surface. It is not just because you are a military strategist that every problem that has some violence, by way of manifesting from such a challenge can easily be settled, or if you like, dealt with with military precision. So this is the reason why I believed, arising from the experiences that I've had, to say that the public and of course the other stakeholders must understand the nuances of Boko Haram challenge, as well as other insecurity within the country. And I'm glad that the conversation that we had is just the beginning. And my intent in putting together this book is to have a national conversation to begin to address issues of insecurity across the country. Boko Haram is only a connecting point to making the case that the dastardly manifestations of Boko Haram is only a pointer to the fact that we need to do something very urgently with the underlying issues of insecurity in Nigeria.
Now, Lucky Irabor was the former CDS. When he was in office, what did he tell Nigerians? When Nigerians were crying about insecurity, he said they should go and pluck a stick. He said, with stick, you can defend yourself. Like, all Nigerians should have at least a stick in their house. Whenever you see Fulani Herdsmen with their AK-47 that the military are running from, now you just have to hold a stick and run towards them, just stick, fight. That was what he was preaching during his time when they were asking, how would Nigeria defend themselves? He said they should go and cut a stick in their house. But the current CDS now, the Chief of Defense Staff, said that Nigeria should learn Kung Fu and how to swim. That whenever you just see Fulani Herdsmen, all you need to do is this. Either you do snake on the monkey shadow, or you do P-Man style, or Jackie Chan style, the drunken master style. You must learn Kung Fu to defend yourself. He's no longer in the office now, which is the Lucky Irabor. He's not telling you how we should combat this Boko Haram. When he was in office, why did he not combat it? In fact, it was not ×2, but now it is ×2. But during his time, it was even far worse. It was worse, not far worse. But this one that is telling you to go and learn Kung Fu, his own tenor is far, far worse. Maybe after he left office, he go and write a book because he want to make money, telling you how to combat this insurgency. But he have the power now, but he's not doing it. A lot of you see how soldiers are crying daily that they are stripping them of their power. They know where this Boko Haram are, but they can't go after them. A lot of you are watching the Zamfara state governor saying he knows these people, but they're not going after them. The government or the federal government are refusing them to send military after these people. Not just that, a lot of you see the videos. We'll also make a separate video about that, how the insecurity, the Boko Haram or the Fulani Herdsmen is now coexisting with the people, carrying AK-47 to the market, buying food stuff, entry bike and riding along the streets. Nothing is happening. Anyway, I will end my video here. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Sultan of Sokoto, what he said? What do you think about the good lucky Billy Jonathan, who they destabilized his government, all because they were hunger for this power? Now the power is with them. They can't do nothing with it. They just want to remain in office and keep on eating and blaming people. Now, what do you also think about the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, what he said? What do you think about the bishop? I want you guys to comment your thoughts. What do you also think about this Boko Haram? Who do you think invented this Boko Haram? What do you think is their goal and aim in life? I rest my case here. I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section. Until we meet again. Peace out.
The Boko Haram started 2009 when I was the vice president to late Yaradua. Now, of course, I took over 2010 for 5 years. Battling with the Boko Haram until I left. I thought that immediately I leave, within a reasonable time, late General Buhari was going to wipe them out, but till today, the Boko Haram is still there. So the issue of Boko Haram is a little more complex than sometimes we can conjecture. In 1999, when the Obasanjo became the president, we had some issues in the Southwest. But government was able to bring it down because there was a clear focus, there was clear reason, and government was able to. Then we had issues in the Niger Delta. And when I became the vice president, one of the major things I did was to visit the most dangerous camp of the militants in the Niger Delta. I remember when we flew down to Warri, by the time we got to the waterfront to take boats to that camp, they sent information to us that anybody following me must not carry a weapon. My ADC, my CSO, that nobody should carry a weapon. In fact, the Commissioner of Police of Delta State said, Vice President, no, you will not go there. The State Director of SSS to say, no, I will not go. I told them I will go. So even my officers, my ADC, my CSO and so on, they handed over their guns to the CP and the SDS of Delta State. And none of them carried a weapon. When we landed at the camp, these boys lying up one this way, one road this way, with their assault rifles, just facing the bush, not even looking at my direction as if there was nothing happening. We marched through them, we passed through them, sorry. We had a meeting with their leaders and so on. We had spent almost 1 hour there. When we came back, that was the beginning of solving the Boko, the Niger Delta crisis. And we were able to get through. At least now there's reasonable pace in the Niger Delta. If you, like Busakuka mentioned, the 82 and 83, when we have the Maitasile religious crisis in this country. From research, the Maitasile religious crisis, when some of them were arrested and analyzed and interviewed, they came from parts of the Sahel area within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, where we had major droughts within that period. And the river pest disease that wiped out so many cattle. And so many young people from these areas migrated to the cities, Maiduguri and others, and they had no skills and nothing to do. And they were able to be recruited and cause the havoc. Luckily, it was a military government then, so when the military intervened, they were able to bring it down because there was a clear reason. A reason of young people who were looking for survival, but they had no skills, and so on and so forth. So if you put all these things together, you begin to say, this Boko Haram, why is it that from 2009 till date, we've not been able to resolve the crisis of Boko Haram? So just like Bishop Kuka tried to raise some fundamental issues, and you value the weapons, then you know that these are not hungry people. So the soldiers that sometimes capture some of the weapons will see better. But the weapons they use, the ammunitions they use, sometimes they even have more ammunition than our soldiers. So it doesn't show that they are hungry people. And where are these guns, sophisticated weapons coming from? And you begin to see that the external hands are also involved, especially when I was president.